Hello, everybody. I'm your new Penn Branch Citizen Civic Association President, Shannon. I welcome you this evening, and we're about to get started. Okay, first I would like to say hello and just take a second or two to remember and reflect that today is 9/11. So I just want to take a short second out to just have a moment of silence for those victims and people affected by 9/11. So let's have a brief moment of silence. Okay. First, I'd like to say hello, Penn Branch. This has been a very eventful summer for me, must I say. As I was sworn in and given my duties, not short after 60 days or less, I was merely thrown into everything. But that was a blessing in disguise. I was able to see and value the people around me that are sitting here today. That journey involved house calls, identifying processes, testifying, door knocking, and so much more. As your new president, I am committed to getting back to the clear fundamentals of acting neighborly, getting to know one another, having good intentions, developing a unified community where we aren't passing by one another, but willing to lend a helping hand if needed. This is going to take tough work, tough love, and patience. I plan to have realistic and attainable goals. I hope to bring some new ideas, but some of those will take time as well. I have identified a few things that aren't functioning properly and/or problematic. A few, for example, we lack order in the ways we communicate with, like far as the associations we have. Let's be clear, it's only one official source of dispersing info. Anything else is a misrepresentation. Requesting goods or financial donations on behalf of Penn Branch without running it by me, the president, or our VP, Jacqueline Cannon. Not being cooperative, not having nothing positive to provide. Drama, I will just be frank. Know that this serves as a notice that will not be tolerated with this association. And our mission is to uplift and engage. If you'd rather be problematic, this association is not the group for you. Okay? My recommendations moving forward, I plan to reconfigure and revise some methods that are outdated, new methods of record keeping, better communication, some fresh faces, a more enthusiastic energy. Yay! Our goals for this year are trying to increase membership by 25% for the year, fine-tuning some financial tracking for membership dues, increasing donations for community events, possibly fundraising, establishing a strong newsletter and communication committee, providing a holiday social, establishing a chess club for the kids in the community, and providing a health and wellness event, along with our annual events and so much more. I welcome you. I'm Shannon Thomas. Okay, so next I'm going to have the review of the summer activities that we have been doing within that summer duration where people were relaxing and we were busy at work. So we're going to give you some of our updates. Hal Murphy, by the way.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? Good to see you all. I hope you all had a great summer. Looking forward to a good fall with everyone. So some of the things that Shannon mentioned, I'll go into just a little bit more detail on, but please interrupt if you have questions. And at the end, I'll also see if anybody has any questions on these things. We're happy to talk about them more. So during the month of June, I think all of the new board members, including myself, attended the ANC monthly meeting. We had discussions with our ANC representative and some of the other there. One of the key topics that we talked about at that meeting was the proposed shopping center development at Penn Branch Shopping Center. More on that to follow. We also had our first board members meeting at the Hope Project facility in Penn Branch Shopping Center, where we discussed our goals for this upcoming year. We were also sworn in June. And subsequently, we met with Anthony Start, who most of you know now as the representative of Jair Lynch Development Partners, who came to speak to one of our later meetings earlier in the summer. We spoke with him about some of the community concerns. We also got an update on construction plans, essentially all the things that you subsequently heard in his presentation. We got some advance notice on that, and also were able to express some of the things that we had heard from the community that we thought that he should address during that upcoming meeting. Also in June and into July, the President, Shannon, and Vice President Jacqueline met with some of the representatives from O Street Neighbors and Friends, and also some of the homeowners on O Street to introduce themselves and introduce the new board and ensure that they knew that we were interested in hearing and addressing their concerns about the proposed shopping center development, and that we invited them to be regular participants in this meeting and future forums where we discuss issues related to the shopping center, but also broader issues related to our neighborhood, because we view them as part of our neighborhood and want to make sure that they always feel welcome here, as do everyone else who lives in the Penn Branch neighborhood. On July 23rd, we represented the Penn Branch Civic Association. Shannon Thomas testified on her behalf at the zoning hearing, which was in support of the now passed zoning resolution to amend the zoning rules for Penn Branch Shopping Center to allow for mixed-use development, particularly in the current area that is behind the shopping center, where there is a parking lot that is now zoned for mixed-use residential and commercial development going forward. During July, we also, Jacqueline hosted a conference call with the block captains, where we discussed block captain responsibilities and tried to ensure that they knew what we were looking for from them and that they had a signal of how we were going to employ the block captains going forward to get messages out to the community. And you'll hear more on that in the coming weeks and months. And finally, in August, we hosted our annual Community Day and Block Party. I think now would be a good time to again thank and congratulate Tawana Banks for her heroic efforts pulling that together. Lived in the community very long, but I have heard from others who have lived here longer that it was one of the best, and I can see why. So thank you so much, Tawana, for your work, and thank you to everyone for joining. We look forward to many more of those and some good events to come in the year ahead. So if there are not any questions, then I'll move on to the next, but let me give just a minute to see if there are any questions, anything that I brought up from our summer activities. So,
I have a question. Could you explain the position that Penn Branch is taking? You said mixed use zoning now versus what was the option? I don't remember.
Can you stand up so people?
I can repeat the question.
Thank you.
So the question was if Penn Branch supported the change to mixed use zoning in the section behind the current Penn Branch Shopping Center, then what was it rezoned from? I'll take a shot at this, and if anybody wants to add on to it. My understanding is that the section behind the shopping center was zoned only residential before, even though the remainder of the shopping center was already a mixed-use zone. And so for the parking lot area, which was also considered part of the property owned by Jair Lynch when they purchased it, to be changed to allow for some commercial development, that had to be moved to mixed use. And so we, the board on behalf of the association, supported that change with some important caveats that were led by Post Street neighbors and friends and others to ensure that there was proper setback, there were height restrictions, and that there were a number of different things that were going to govern how the shopping center would be used, so that trash, noise, light, all those sorts of things wouldn't be an infringement upon, especially the neighbors who live closest to that area.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes.
The laundromat, is that part of the new, would that be part of the new construction?
I'm sorry.
The laundromat?
The laundromat. No, not at this time. What we heard from Anthony Stark, the representative of Jair Lynch, is that that is owned by a separate group, but they are still, Jair Lynch is interested in purchasing that property in the future if they're able to. Right now the sellers haven't said that they are willing, or they haven't been able to come to an agreement, but that is something that they're going to pursue in the future. But for the purpose of the current redevelopment efforts, that's not part of it. Yes, ma'am. She commented that it's falling apart and something needs to be done there. And I think we share that view, and I think appeals have been made to DCRA and others, and I think we'll stay on top of that. But we share your view that we would like to see something good done with that benefits the community. All right, we all will. Anybody else? Questions? All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kyle. Next, we will have a treasurer report from Tawana Banks, our treasurer.
Good afternoon. As you know, I've taken on the duties as a treasurer from Matt, the previous treasurer for the Penn branch. So I took this over effective July the 10th, and there was a balance of 1976. With the Community Day, the current dues collected, and donations received from other sources, we incurred $2,655 in the month of August. The expenses for the Community Day of those funds were $2,460. The other expenses, such as like the basket donation to Mrs. Hall, printing for the newsletter, PayPal transfers, the GoDaddy website is the vendor that we use to keep up the email process between the Penn branch executive board members, and hard copy printers, which is the new printer we use for the membership card. So those expenses total to $1,032. So right now, with approval of Shannon Thomas, we have a balance of $1,138. So we did really well in the month of August with our donations. So we're hoping to try and use some of these funds to set aside for future requirements, such as the Christmas party. We're going to try and do something a little different this year.
So, can we have a motion to accept the treasurer report as read?
I move that the treasurer report be accepted as read.
Any seconds?
I second.
Thank you. The treasurer report is accepted.
Thank you, Tawana. Okay, now we're going to move on to our crime report from Lieutenant Michael Jameson. A friendly face to us.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope everybody had a good summer. I want to start by saying one of my colleagues, Lieutenant Jessica Hawkins, she's here. She's PSA 606. She's also a DC resident, like me. So
They're right up street. Thanks.
they're right down the street, actually. Yep, sure does. So that's a positive and good thing for us. We go over 605 crime stats. You know, it's been a long summer. Long summer. I'm sure you probably watched the news of various things that have been happening. But I'm going to stay to my little island of 605. Okay? We did have a homicide in 605 and right down the block of Pennsylvania Avenue. The large apartment building down there on the left before you go to Southern Avenue and cross over. It was inside of an apartment. The suspect is known. I'm not sure he's been caught yet, but it's kind of like an isolated incident. So I don't think the citizens, which is like a block over from my house, everything is feared with that one. So that was should be a closed case very soon. We also had a sexual assault, which was a known suspect, somebody on an online dating app. The sexual assault about the gentleman that came over to meet her, and that was in 3900 block of Pennsylvania Avenue as well. So with electronics and all that other stuff, it shouldn't be too hard to find that person as well. So that's the investigation. So when we get to the regular crime, which, you know, all crime is bad to me, but it is down to 605. Violent crime over the last 30 days remain the same. No increases and no decreases. Property crime is down 30%. This is always a good thing. For a total crime decrease of 25%, being 605. I'm gonna go with the, we had a little earlier conversation about the theft models that are happening in our area. They're kind of, those are a little up. Me and Lieutenant Hawk was just discussing about the gentleman overnight we saw with the van pulling up stealing tires off people's cars. You know, we're not allowed to chase for certain things. The officer did try to apprehend them, but they made good their escape out of Maryland. But what they did was, they have a van with a sliding door. They come up like a NASCAR pit crew and take all the tires off the vehicles. They only look at certain tires and the rims, yeah. All within less than 5 minutes.
They took all four
tires. They jacked the car up, put it on brakes, cinder blocks, and took all 4 tires in less than 5 minutes. Apparently they're looking for, as I'm looking over the crime, the vehicles involved, apparently it's Hondas and related products tend to be the choice of the later models.
You said the Hondas?
Honda products.
What about the Chargers? Because it seems like we've seen a couple like Chargers, Dodge.
In the 605 area, there's been Hondas, but in other areas, there's been some in 603 and 608. There's been Chargers and Dodge products. And Dodge Chrysler have been the most easiest vehicles to steal. Have been in my career. I don't know why Dodge hasn't corrected that problem, but there's been a lot of tires and rims getting stolen, and a lot of tags that are being stolen as well. That's another thing that's going on. They're taking temporary tags. Temporary tags are not normally put in the system, but Virginia does. Virginia puts their temporary tags in the system, so when you buy a car in Virginia, they get put in the system. They know who it's registered to. But Maryland and DC have not got around that, so they snatch your tags, temporary, put it on the car. Obviously, they're going to do another crime with it. That's the only reason why they would do that, and go on. So that's the bust of the thefts from the automobiles here in 605, especially the Hondas. So we're going to have we have a crime suppression team that's going to ride around at night. I ride around at night myself because I don't get up to 5 in the morning after I leave here. Because I live here, so I personally take it personally, you know, even though my car's in the garage. And see what we can do. Like I said, we almost caught them the other night, but due to the policy, we're not allowed to chase. But we got a good idea of what they look like and what the vans look like. And we also can look at the very efficient speed cameras. You know that they also record 24/7. So we can look at those as well and see if we can get, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we also look at those as well and see if we can get some type of facial recognition on that, like we do the four wheels and stuff. So hopefully we have it closer to that as well, like we did the garage robberies a couple of years ago. Speaking of speed cameras, the ones on Branch Avenue, somebody asked me about, it was moved up a little. They did not take it away, but it was relocated. Yeah, one is put on a pole behind a tree, and the other one on the other side has been moved up from its original location about 100 feet. So just to let you know, they work very good. Let me go over some places where some autos were stolen from. We had 9 stolen autos in the last 30 days in 605. 29 block of Nelson Street, the 15 block of 41st Street, the 33 block of Carpenter, the 39 block of Penn. And speaking of 39 block of Penn, there's we put a mobile camera there this summer. It sits right on the sidewalk next to the Exxon gas station. It's run by solar panels and it's a little blue light that flashes supposed to be on the top. And it records 24/7, right across from the Fairfax Village shopping center with the like 30. 42 block of Nash Place, 39 block of S, 42 block of Gorman Street, 21 block of O Street, and the 42 block of 8th Street. We had 11 theft models. I'll tell you what they were about the tags and tires. It's going to be the main thing going on with that right now. And the homicide is not solved yet. As soon as it does, I'll make sure you'll get that information. All right, so any questions, concerns I need to be aware of? I know it's been gone for about 90 days. My favorite.
I just wanted to make a report. 3300 block of Carpenter Street.
Okay.
First whoever borrowed the car set it on fire with Virginia tags. It was reported and
MPD was expedient in coming out with DPW. They tagged it, they towed it. So it was gone within 24 hours. 2 weeks later, which was a week ago, 3 more stolen cars were parked in the 3300 block of Carpenter Street. 2 had Virginia tags, 1 had road. So I'm asking that our patrols between like 6 p.m. to, I forgot the shifts, whatever
time you want it to be.
yeah, the 6 to 3 a.m. Everybody that's out there, feel free to park by the park, do their reports, and watch that corridor. Because for some reason, and they are being seen going into the property known as 3300 Carpenter. That's why I gave the exact
The
address.
suspect?
The people.
The people getting out of the vehicles according to that address? Okay, that's very good to hear.
Yeah,
Okay.
3300 Carpenter Street. So let's keep an eye on the house.
That gave me something to work with.
And there's another violation. DCRA was called by the block captain because they have a pit bull that's bigger than that table that our board is sitting at. And the fence is down and they have that pit bull out there without restraints.
What's the address of that?
3300 cars.
Yeah. I have animal control involved in that too as well.
Right.
Okay, next.
That same location, there's abandoned property, vehicles right there. The SUV was finally towed about a week ago, but there's I guess Impala sitting right there, the same property.
Okay.
Is in the no parking, it has a sign, no parking, the car's been there for over 2 months. And it has tickets on it, and the same way with the abandoned SUV, it's been there with tickets for about 3 months. They finally towed it, but the car that's sitting right there is in, says no parking, and it has
The
tickets.
tickets? Okay. All right.
So has that come up in your patrol? Is that area, that vehicle?
No, that hasn't come up, and especially the dumping of the stolen cars is really first time I'm hearing that, but I was definitely address that. Yeah. Especially when I got an address with the suspect coming in. That makes it easy. Yeah. Anything else?
Also,
Question. Yeah, animal control, is that part of NPD or is that?
No, it's all separate agencies.
Oh, they sick. They are the sickest people, and I wrote a letter asking the government, as an individual, not as Penn Branch, we should never give them the neighbor who got almost bit by those dogs called, and you know what they told him? Never run, calm down, and talk nicely to the dog. Never came out. So I didn't mean to go off, but that was a brand new young neighbor, 28 years old, been in the block only 2 months. Brand new neighbor, scared the poop out of her.
Well, usually when we call,
They don't do anything.
that's a possibility. But when the police give them a call, they usually come almost immediately.
Well, we need you to call.
Right. Especially that's something that's running up. I do know they refuse to come out with deer because they said deer's on a natural habitat when they pull them on car, and we're not coming out for that. But usually, if we have a dog running in the wild like that, they usually come. Believe it or not, some of our officers are equipped with dog poles now, so if we have to corral the dog up, we can do that. Short of shooting the dog, which we don't want to do if we have to. So we do have a dog pole. In fact, I got one in the back of my cruiser actually. You can put the loop around like animal control and just hold them there until animal control get there. So we can do some things we can do to make sure nobody gets hurt. Now, if the dog attacking somebody, then Fluffy got to go. That's something. Life over anything else. Anything else on this?
a few of the tire robberies were on the 3600 block of Texas Avenue. One night it was my brother's car, then the next night they tried to steal my neighbor's car.
Okay. What kind of car is that?
A Camry.
Okay, tell me. I have to tell you. Can't figure something out. I'm gonna give our Crown Suppressor team this address that we got to work with because we normally don't get that type of information. So we can do a couple things to do that I don't want to discuss at the meeting because I don't know who's sitting here, but there's with an address and this stuff right here going on, there's some things we can do to find there. Because once we catch them, it's like the guy with the fire hydrants. They caught him yesterday. It was opening up all the fire hydrants in the city. I don't know if you saw that on the news when they finally, some guy was opening up all the fire hydrants around the city for some reason. for him today. That's what, but I think it's not really important, but if you have a fire, the fire chief said really, if you have a fire, there's no pressure. You put that wood on that fire and your house burned down, it comes not to be funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Go ahead, Rick.
On 34th Street, the easement that's closest to the Penn branch, that little park, right where Pope and 34th come together. Yes.
Yeah, I go through there every night.
Right. Apparently, my neighbor said that one night, all of the cars that were parked in front of our homes, so were vandalized. So I don't know if somebody has turned that in. That might have been about a month or so, maybe 6 weeks ago.
Okay, I'll check.
Yeah, but they said that all their cars had you can tell that they had been rifled through.
Okay, so they call it, I'll find the real details about it.
Right.
Anything else? Anything to the board? Okay, well, there's Lieutenant Hawkins back in the corner. Yeah, we're working something right now. As you can see, the phone been ringing up a little bit. This real briefly. Somebody got stabbed in the head up on G Street. So that's what she's working with right now. So we want to apologize for all the interruptions we're doing. And I got to really work it nice so she can go home. So, so that's what we're working with that. Yeah, okay. All right, well, I'll be here the next meeting as usual and everything else.
Thank you, Lieutenant Michael Jameson. Now I want to introduce, well, first I'd like to say that we have two people from our ANC board here tonight, Mr. Bill Hammond and D.L. Humphrey, so let's give them a round of applause. They always been supporting us and we appreciate that. Right now I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. He's the jack of all trades. When I called him and I asked him to come speak, I said, wait a minute, you have all this stuff that comes up under your name. Well, I mean, how much of it do you want me to put down? And he just chuckled, so I'll let him come up and speak to that. He even deals with crime stuff too, you guys. So I'd like to introduce D.L. Humphrey.
Yay!
Oh, good evening, Penn Branch. It seems like it's been a long time since I've been up here. I think it's been about a year since I've been up here, but thank you for having me again. Thank you for the board. I think you have a great board. I'd like to give them a round of applause. They have been doing a great job. I see that they're starting to step up, and I'm so excited for the things that's going to happen here at Penn Branch. So if I could, just give them a round of applause. So, one of the things that I was taught by my father, he said, when you go up to speak, he said, be brief, be direct, and be seated. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be brief, I'm going to be direct, and I'm going to be seated. One thing with Lieutenant Jameson, I drive a Dodge Charger, so I'm a little concerned. So letting you know that's kind of concerning when it comes to me. But as you all hear, my name is D.L. Humphrey. I wear several different hats. I actually, for the Ward 7 Democrats, I'm the second vice chair. I'm also for crime prevention for the CAC, the Community Advisory Council for the 6th District, and I'm also the chairman for ANC 7B and ANC Commissioner for 7B07. So this includes some of my S&B. Real quick, I'd like to take time out just to give my other commissioner a round of applause, Mr. Phil Hammond. Thank you so very much. That's my man here. Well, Phil. All right, so real brief, I want to kind of go down the list of some of the things that's going on and give you some of the updates that's happening in your community. So the first thing will be, it's been a long, drawn-out process, but it is something that I'm so very happy to announce tonight. I was in the city council with something that we've been dealing with, and that's that. How many of us drive through Fort DuPont Park? Right? Yeah, we try, and believe me, it's a mess, right? Well, I'm happy to announce that they will be repaving Fort DuPont Park, and I definitely like to give props to Miss Alberta Paul. She's been working hard on this as well. So what happened, just to let you know, when I was at the city council, one of the issues, we had to basically stand on this gentleman's desk, because they kept talking about funds for the Memorial Bridge, for the Alton Memorial Bridge. And I kept asking the question, well, if you have funds right now, why do you keep patching up the part instead of just repaving the entire part? It didn't make any sense to me, because you're spending $145,000 patching up the part, we could just spend the $300,000 to $500,000 to fix the part. And so finally, after a lot of long, hard work and a lot of drawn out processes, like I said, I'm happy to announce that the Fort DuPont Park will start paving. It's going to be this October, correct?
Yes.
All right, so this October. So I'm going to take questions as we go along, so I'm going to move the meeting along. So, ma'am?
Yes, but will it be the first part of the park and the second part of
Both
the park?
Both parts. So you will have, so right now, as you can see, they paved the one side for DuPont, for Davis Drive.
Yeah, but that's already.
Yeah, that's already done. We need the other part up to Texas Avenue. Okay, yeah, it is terrible, and I'm telling you, I've complained, and we actually brought out, if I'm correct, Commissioner Hangley, we brought out the National Park Service and an individual about 2 months ago to have them to come out to speak, and so, I mean, we stood in their neck then, and so with persistence, and, we was able to get some stuff
Because
done.
it can tear up your car.
Yeah, it tears up your car. So just to let you know, if anything happens to your car when those type of things happen, you need to contact Officer Risk Management, okay? So like say if your tire rod goes out, you have a cracked rim, whatever have you, you need to contact Officer Risk Management. The best thing to do is to call 311. I'm kind of going to bounce over because I was talking, that's one of the things that was on my list to talk about, the importance of 311. We're going to have Office of Unified Communications to come out to our ANC. And one of the complaints that we have been getting since I was in the council and left the council, one of the things that we have gotten and received is that 311 is not effective. We contact them, they close out serious situations, certain cases with zero resolution. And so we kind of wanted to get some answers from 311 as to why is that, and and how can we better put in a request through 311 and make sure that they're done properly. I'll give you a case in point. Say if you ask for a light, say there's a light that's out in your neighborhood, it's out but when they come out, the light flickers on and off. If the light flickers if the light is on while they come out to inspect, they say it's closed out. And then next thing you know, you still have the same issue that you're dealing with. And so that's some of the things that we need to know, just how to use the terminology. That's the best thing, to use their terminology so we can make sure that we get things done and accomplish in our ward. So next piece that I wanted to kind of put over is the Anacostia Bridge over Nicholson Street Southeast. They will be doing some work on that. I'm going to relay that information. I think Ms. Alberta Paul, she's been great on this type of stuff, so I want her to kind of give an overview if you can. At a certain point in the meeting about the Anacostia Bridge over Nicholson Street, like I said, we're going to be doing some lane closing, and that will be coming up very soon. Definitely, Ms. Alberta, I relay it to you. Also, moving on right along, I attended the Chancellor's survey this week. I actually came late because I had my SMD, we had our NAC executive meeting the same night, attended a meeting for the Chancellor's survey for Ward 7 Education Council. So as you all know, there's now a new search for the new chancellor for DC Public Schools. Okay, I think that we need to really be involved with this type of with this conversation. Reason being, I'm to be honest, I have an 11-year-old son, and when I look at the middle schools over here in Ward 7, I am just upset at best. And I'm in church now, so I'm saying I'm upset at best because of what we have and what we're forced to deal with when it comes to our middle schools over here in Ward 7. It's my first year that I actually had my child to go to DC Public Schools. Usually I had them at DC Public Charter Schools. And one of the things that I've seen, and it's just coming from the council, is that DC government, when you look at Howard County, Montgomery County, and other situations, other places outside of DC, they don't have public charter schools. All they have is the traditional public schools. And the reason being is because their government have invested into the public schools, the traditional public schools. And I think that that's what needs to happen here, is that our government needs to really invest into DC public schools. I was not a part of the DC public schools. My parents did not want to send me because I went to Anacostia and they said, no, we're not going to send you over there. And so I think that, we have to invest, and we need our government to invest into the DC public school system. So moving right along, I definitely want to bring up our Ward 7 Dems meeting. So, like I said, I'm the second vice chair for the Ward 7 Democrats. We're looking for precinct captains as well. So if there is something that you would like to do, something that you'd like to be involved with as far as precinct captains and Ward 7, please give me a call. I definitely need your contact information. We have our meetings the fourth Saturday of every month. So the fourth Saturday of every month is going to be our meetings. It's usually at the Dorothy Height Library, and the times there are from 10 to 12. Okay, so 10 a.m. to 12 at Dorothy Height Library. All right? So moving right along, we had a situation that came to the ANC when it comes to marijuana dispensary on Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay, yes. So this is something that has came up to the ANC. They're looking to put a marijuana dispensary right there, where you know where the post office is, right there on Pennsylvania. No, the post office on Pennsylvania Avenue, right across from Morton's.
Yes.
Okay, so you know we have, so we're talking about the gateway into Ward 7. Okay, the gateway into Ward 7. We're going to look up and we're going to have a marijuana dispensary and a liquor store right there beside each other. As you already know, if you look at the 5 stacks over there, this is something that has been played in our community, something that we've had a big situation with. And I just think that inviting that type of business, it does a disservice to our community. And so this is something that the ANC opposed. However, we wasn't giving great weight because other ANCs did not oppose it as well. So that was something in which that we was very disheartened behind, because we spent a lot of time on this, and we definitely did not want to have a marijuana dispensary be in the gateway of our community. I mean, I think on Minnesota Avenue, the 7C, they wanted to have over there, so we said, well, why not, put it over there instead of having it in the gateway of Ward 7. And so what we're trying to do, one of the things, as I took over for chairman for ANC 7B, is that we're trying to highlight every commissioner and every SMB. So we have our Skyland piece that's coming up. We have our Penn Branch Shopping Center. And I definitely want to give Commissioner Hammond some time, because we wanted to talk about kind of the updates with the Penn Branch Shopping Center. So I'm going to scratch it off my list, Commissioner Hammond. You can take care of that. So that's some of the things that we're trying to highlight. And one of the things, it's a distinct difference when you look over the bridge from Ward 6 to Ward 7. When you go across that bridge from the Sousa Bridge and you go across from Capitol Hill and then you go to Ward 7, it's night and day. And we all know that. And that is something in which that we're going to try to fix, especially in 7B, is to try to look at the aesthetics. We're talking about doing, revamping just that whole entire corridor of Pennsylvania Avenue to make it look more conducive to, to the other part of Pennsylvania Avenue. I don't think it should be such a difference, or such a degree of separation when we look at the difference between one part of the ward and another part of the city for Ward 6 and Ward 7, okay? So that was one of the things. Lieutenant Jameson, I think he has stepped out, but one of the things I definitely want to look at, we're probably looking to some legislation for the temporary tax. I did not know that Ward 7 there in Washington, D.C., that there's such a difference when it comes to the TAG program, when it comes to temporary tax. So that is something that we can definitely look into. And also with the 3300 block of Parkland. So I'm going to kind of wrap up at this point, because I want to get some information and kind of get some feedback from you all. One of the things I definitely want to announce, because it has been something that you have been asking for a long time, as far as what are my next moves since leaving. I think I actually see our former councilman in the back. Could you raise your hand? How you doing, Councilman Alexander? All right. So one of the things I have decided that I have run for re-election for ANC 7B, and I will seek for re-election for the chairman for ANC 7B. And so I'm going to need your support. I think, pretty much everyone knows me. You know my line of work. That's something that, has been talked about, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate Ms. Alexander giving me that opportunity as well. So, with that being said, one of the new things I will let you know is everybody been asking, where are you, man? What's your new job? What you doing, man? Where are you? So I'm letting you know now I have decided to stay committed. Of course, I've always been committed to Ward 7. I've committed from day one to Ward 7. I'm a native son of Ward 7. So when the opportunity was asked of me, I was definitely saying, you know what, let me continue to serve Ward 7. So in that capacity, I will now announce that I am the new Deputy Director for Constituent Services for Vincent Gray. All right? A lot of folks have been asking me. I think that, you know, it's something that's going to be definitely a great thing. I have been tutored, you know, before. I'm looking to continue tutelage and to see what my new role. And you know, I know everybody has been asking, are you going to run? What you going to do? And so I'm like, look, let me stay back for a little while. And just, you know, it's great that you are asking, but I really thank you. I thank you for your support too, because, you know, I've been giving so much support in the community. I really appreciate that. You don't know how great it is for people to, you know, ask you, hey, what's going on? And for people to see you back and they're happy for you. So I truly thank you. All right, so with that being said, I think I see my name in the back. So with that being said, are there any questions that you would like to ask me, either for the campaign, Ward 7 Dems, the CAC? Just to let you know, our commander, we just had our commander's retirement party last night for the CAC. So if you all do not know, Commander David Taylor, he is retiring. Okay, he will be retiring. We will be replaced with Commander, I call him BB, but it's Commander Bleedline. Okay, I think that's how you say it. I don't want to jack her name, so that's why I say BB. But she was with the youth division, and now she was an inspector as well, so now she is coming to be our new commander for the 6th district. So, you know, we're looking for great things. You know, she made a plea last night that she's going to definitely take the task by the horn. So, you know, I would love to see how we're going to work with her in the near future. So with that being said, are there any questions?
With the medical marijuana, especially, is that going to be medical marijuana or recreational use for that facility on Pennsylvania Avenue?
Well, it's supposed to be medical marijuana. That's what we're claiming it is all. It's supposed to be. It's all supposed to be medical. Yeah, it's all supposed to be medical, not recreational. but we all know how that story goes. So, but yeah, it's supposed to be a medical marijuana. Our fight is not over with that. I'm just gonna let you know, our fight is not over with that. And you know, we're gonna. So when I come, you know, knocking on your door and asking for your support, you know, let me know, because I do know that there are great benefits for marijuana. We have seen the great benefits for, you know, individuals that use it and hear it. However, at that particular location, yeah, to me, it's the worst location that you can come up with, because you just invite crime. Okay, so I think this lady had a young lady right here.
There are some.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know your name again.
Sure. Everyone calls me D.L. Humphrey. My full name is Dexter Lionel.
Where are you located?
My address, actually, I have 3452 N as a Nancy Street, Southeast. I got my office now? Okay, so I will start on Monday, so I'm going to be down at the Wilsonville. Yeah, 1350 Pennsylvania. Actually, like I said, I haven't started as of yet. I'm going to make sure that I give everyone my cell phone number before I leave. You will do. So I have not, like I said, I have not started officially in my capacity yet. I start on Monday. So, and just to let you know, Letitia Atkins, she will be going on a part-time position here, and I'm going to be taking over for full-time deputy director here. I had some choices on where I was going to go, and so I decided to stick with more stuff. But I will give you my cell phone number for sure. Ms. Paul?
With a letter from our association's board in support of your position against placing the medical marijuana facility at that particular intersection, help, and if so, could you send the board some data that they could review, and then at their executive committee meeting, once they see that, they could pop out their letter for you?
Sure. That's the pleasure of the board. We definitely make that happen. We'll follow up with our office manager. We just hired a new office manager, Ms. Sheila Brown. So I will follow up with you in regards to that. No problem. Thank you, Ms. Paul, for that. Any other questions? Councilmember Jackson?
There is an Airbnb on Highwood Drive, it's 3443 Highwood Drive. And we don't really have, well, not really complaints about those that stay there, but the only complaints I've heard is that for the trash, they stay, you know, people can stay no matter what time of the week it is. So a lot of times neighbors have complained about trash being piled up in the yard. You know, they don't know when trash day is, it's on Friday. One complaint, and about parking. You know, because I think it's up to 8, maybe 12 people that can stay there. So a lot of times, different people bring their cars there, and they don't park in front of the house, they park all over, so some people get upset. Even though I know street parking is public, but most people park in front of their homes. So some people have told them, please try to park where you're staying and not in front of my house or in my driveway.
Okay, Ms. Barnes, you want to
There's actually 2 Airbnbs in our community, and we all should be aware of them. You've got the first address, the other one is in 3600 block. It is our job, it is our duty as citizens of this community to call 311 or 645-71, just go direct, 645-7190, and ask for Lawrence Dance, D-A-N-C-E, like you're dancing your way to get rid of that trash. They will send a truck immediately. And the reason I'm saying this, and I mean it from my soul, I like seeing them whip that $5,000 fine on the property owner. I don't care about the people because they know they haven't been told or whatever. 2, we need to perhaps next month have DCRA come and explain the regulations. Because the law is still, wait a minute, the law still says you can't have more than 2 unrelated human beings staying in a property. There is no house, unless you prove me wrong, that could accommodate sleeping 12 people for a 30-day period in these 3, maximally 4-bedroom properties. It's against the law, and I want the owner to be smacked with the $5,000 fine. And the closing on that, let me tell you the serious issue. I do this, what we're doing tonight, citywide. And Petworth got it first, in terms of Airbnb, whatever the name, Airbnb. Okay. They're turning into, I'm gonna age myself, into tea houses.
What is it?
What?
What's a tea house?
What's a tea house?
I ain't familiar with that one.
Tea house is where your boyfriend took you and y'all played tennis.
Tennis? In quotation.
That's a good way to put it.
So we want to really be careful and invite DCRA.
Excuse me, Miss P, I'm gonna send you the link to this. This says 16 plus guests, 4 bedrooms, 11 beds, and 2 baths.
So they got some bunk beds.
So they got some bunk beds and twin beds.
Air beds, they got all kinds of beds.
So how many could we put in?
I got you.
That's 3443 Highwood, 16 plus guests, 4 bedrooms, 11 beds, and 2 baths.
Wow.
$120 per night.
How much?
$120 per night.
Oh, that's terrible.
They make
I'm about to do the same thing. What's the address?
Hold on, yeah, someone got the floor.
I got it.
Receive that number, Ms. Paul, that's one of the numbers.
Yes, the number. And I'm gonna send you this link.
Okay, 645-7190. That's DPW.
7190.
Sweep inspectors. And your sweep inspector for Ward 7 is Lawrence Dance, D-A-N-C-E. And even if he's not there, go ahead and talk to whoever answers the phone, make the report, and ask them to prioritize it as an urgent dispatch for removal of trash and debris.
Make sure you get there.
I have a house in front of me.
7190.
Okay. You guys,
Excuse me.
My hand is up.
Yes, excuse me, can we at least be polite and let her speak?
go ahead.
There is a house on
in front of my house, 3120. And I heard someone say that they're not related because you got Latinos, you got black, and you got white, so all the people cannot be related.
Come on, they can be related.
No, they're not related. I know them.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to know, is that a residential area, considered residential or commercial?
Okay, I'll follow up with you after the.
Because if it's commercial, she should have a license. Is that correct?
Yes, I will follow up with you as soon as I leave this mic and I'll get your direct address.
Thank you, Mr.
No problem. Let me give you my cell phone number because I don't want to walk out this meeting and forget, okay? So I will be getting another cell phone. This is my personal cell phone, so you can call me at any time. Be respectful, you know, I've gotten 6:30 in the morning calls a couple of times, so it was weird. But 276-3307. Okay, I'm gonna say it again, 202-276-3307. My direct email address is L113, that's L1HUMP. HREY, the number 1@gmail.com. Once again, come Monday, I will be receiving another cell phone, another DC government email address. I will be coming back to make sure that you all have that information as well. And I definitely thank you. You know, I thank you for this time. And so I guess this is my part where I'll be seated. So I will stay for a couple minutes of the meeting. I do have to go to another meeting, but if there's anything, Eric could see you too, man. So if there's anything, I'll see y'all later. Take care. Thank you, Ward 7.
Thank you.
So real quick, let me also let you know I'm going to pass on some information. This is from Councilman McGray's office. This is some legislation that's taking place as far as the different things that's happening in his office. So I'm just going to pass that out, and I'll be in the back.
Thank you, Mr. Humphrey. I personally wanted to invite him because he was one of the first people on the forefront that I had a conversation with that welcomed me and gave me some key and poignant advice. So I thank you for being open-minded and sharing with me. Also, I forgot to mention earlier, and I'm going to be real quick because we're on a tight time frame now. We're going to be rolling out new membership cards, and these cards are more durable, they're harder, and they have a fresh new look. So if after the meeting you want to come up to the front and just kind of have a look at them, feel free to do so. The neighborhood is revising itself, the shopping center eventually will be revising itself, and we have to upgrade too. So we're moving up to new cards. Okay, so now I'll let Jacqueline Cannon come up. She's my VP. She has some announcements that she wants to give to the student.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Mr. Humphries. We look forward to working with you and seeing you in the future. Just a few quick announcements. We talked about the break-ins earlier, and one of the things that I wanted to highlight that we could do, if you haven't taken advantage of it already, is to take advantage of the private security camera program. The DC government, the Office of Victim Services and Justice Grants, they still have funding available for the program. So Ward 7 and Ward 8, unfortunately, have underutilized this program. So we encourage all residents to participate in the program. It provides a rebate for residences, businesses, nonprofits, and religious institutions to purchase and install security cameras, external security cameras on your property. And the program provides a rebate of up to $200 per camera, a maximum of $500 rebate. The only thing we have to do as residents is register that camera with the Metropolitan Police Department. And once you do that over a period of time, I think it's 6 to 8 weeks, you'll receive a rebate. You have to, of course, provide receipts for purchase of the camera. It does not cover installation, it just covers cost of the camera itself. I had intended on having handouts for tonight on the table in the rear. Dashing to the meeting, I forgot my backpack and left my handouts at home. But I'll have a link to the rebate program on the website, so that if you want to follow up and get more details, you can go right to the site. Hopefully I'll get around to doing that tonight. So please, I need to take advantage of the program. My daughter's friend that was over about a month or so ago had his car broken into, but fortunately nothing was taken, but still it was broken into. So that's the camera program. By the way, how many residents have taken advantage of the program? Is anyone in the room tonight? Ms. Jones in the back? Kathy? Kathy? Well, good. Can you all speak to how easy and simple it was to use the program? Did you get your monies back yet? You got your rebate?
Yeah, it was really easy. Once you purchased it, we sent the receipts in, and then you have to register it online with the DC Police Department, and that was really fast, and they have instructions online how to do it, and then we got a check in the mail within a month after that.
Awesome.
Next question, what do you mean register?
Yeah.
You
can do more than one.
You have to go in and probably give information about
$500
this.
worth, so that's
Yeah, like what do you mean when you say
If there's a
register?
crime that occurs in the area, you have to surrender your tapes to the police department.
Yes, and that's if you want to incur the cost of monitoring. Otherwise, you can just have the camera available for your use. Ms. Jones? Oh, really? Okay.
You have to buy the camera, you have to install the camera, and you have to sign up for monitoring.
Okay, I'll repeat that for the camera, for the folks listening. Ms. Jones said you have to purchase the camera, install it, and sign up for a monitoring service in order to be eligible for the rebate. Yes, sir.
One other thing also with the camera program, make sure that you look at the regulations, because you're looking at the resolution. There's a certain resolution that they're also requiring that you have in order for them to be able to, I think, identify the individual. So if I'm correct, there's a certain resolution that the camera has to have, like HD resolution, that the camera must have in order for you to be a part of the program as well.
So it can't be analog.
Yeah, it's got to be for the camera.
Well, like I said, I'll have a link available to the site, or you can search the Office of the Office of Victim Services and Justice Grants online in order to get more information. So moving on then to the next announcement that I want to make is in regards to the website. How many of you have actually taken a look at the website within the last couple of days? No? So one person did? Okay. Well, please take a look at the website. We're in the process of refreshing it with some new, fresh content, pictures, and more current information. It's a work in progress, but we've come a long way to update many of the pages out there. We were hoping to actually have a whole new look and feel of the website to launch with by now, but of course, time and resources are very limited. So I took a stab at providing some minimal updates, but I think you'll appreciate some of the new information that's out there. If you have any pictures that specifically you think would highlight and look well on the website, please send them to myself or Shannon. I'm Jacqueline.Cannon at PennBranchDC.org. Shannon is Shannon.Thomas at PennBranchDC.org, and we will get those posted up for you. If you have pictures from the Community Day that you'd like for us to highlight as well, forward those up to me also. Block Captain update. We are ecstatic to have Mr. Stan Benton stepping up to be the chair, the captain of our block captains. He has been Captain.
Block Captain.
Well, Block Captain. But Stan has served us well over the years to record the meetings for us and provides those to us in a timely manner. And was interested in finding out what being a block captain chair was all about. And we were finally able to connect a few weeks ago and had a very good exchange. And we appreciate him stepping up and wanting to fill that role for us. So we look forward to him leading us a little further down the road.
All right, thank you. Look forward to helping out.
And he's actually on the program in a few minutes to talk about.
Oh, I thought that was it.
Well, it could be. And I guess in the interest of time, it could be. Do we have any block captains in the room tonight? Please stand.
All right, all right.
Yes, would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Janarda McEachran, and I'm the block captain of the 3600 block of Texas Avenue. I'm sorry, the 3500 block of Texas Avenue, the odd number side. Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Susan?
Is it? Linda Miley, 3600 block of Highwood.
Thank you for that.
Susan Hornick, 33 and 3400 block Pennsylvania Avenue.
Thank you, Susan.
Lance Holt, 3600 block of Texas Avenue.
I see a couple of other hands on
Yep.
this side.
Let me stand up if I can. I'm Gladys Dawn Hall at 3127 O Street, but I'm stepping down. After 4 years, I worked with Jimmy when we first started, so I'm gonna let someone else do it.
All right, well, thank you for serving. We're confident in Stan and carrying the mission forward, and we look forward to going a little bit higher. One other thing, and thank you, Ms. Paul, for sharing this with us about the, pardon me for using my device here. Normally I have my papers in front of me. You provided us with information from DPW about the plastic bags no longer being accepted in the receptacles. Apparently those bags were clogging up the machines and causing all kinds of delays and issues. So please dispose of your plastic bags now in the green bins as opposed to the blue recyclable bins. And there is information on the website about that as well.
Put it in the trash.
It also came from
Oh, okay, yes.
2 weeks ago.
Okay, so please just be mindful of that change and govern ourselves accordingly. And one last thing I want to highlight is a thank you card that we received for Ms. Tawana. Dear Tawana, thank you for being a good neighbor. Your hard work along with others made the block party a success and was very much appreciated. Although all my family enjoyed the festivities and the different information booths, I believe Ray, the 3-year-old, had the most fun. The next day, he went to the window and asked, "Party?" We had to explain that the party was gone, and he was not happy about that at all. We know Jehovah and His Son Jesus appreciates those who have a giving spirit, and Jesus said there's more happiness in giving than there is in receiving. Thanks again for giving your time and effort to help others along the way. Sincerely, Pat Cobb. Thank you again, Tawana, for. And at this point, Ms. Paul, you're up. No, Tawana, I'm sorry. You're up to give us an update on the community day. And then, Ms. Paul, you're after that.
Oh, she had a question.
You want to, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. That's Ms. Latrice Stone Black. She had asked to give an announcement about Penn the Black vote, and I told her that I would ask you before we went on. So if you want to come up for a moment and just share about that.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you for the opportunity. I truly appreciate it. I wanted to come out and speak to the community about. I would like to come out and let the community know and inform you, if you're not already aware, that the DC Council is working hard to overturn the vote. DC citizens came out in June of this year to vote to increase the minimum wage for tipped workers. We won that vote mainly because of Ward 7 and Ward 8 coming out and casting their vote in favor of the initiative. National Restaurant Association followed up and said it's unacceptable. They don't want to pay $15 to restaurant and other tip workers, and DC Council responded by putting forth legislation that's already signed to overturn the vote of the people. This is the dismantling of the democratic process in front of our faces. It's a disrespect, and this overwhelmingly affects the Black community and other communities of color, of course, too, because we are the ones who staff these low-paid positions. You may also know that tipping is deeply rooted in slavery in 1865, when the emancipation was handed down. Capitalists and former slave owners did not want to pay Black folks, so they came up with 3 ways to continue slavery, if you will, through prison, through sharecropping, and through tipping. So they effectively had employees that they did not have to pay, but they can still control. And that's where tipping stems from. Without this increase, restaurant and other tip workers are only making $3.89 per hour, and this is since 1865 that's been the increase. So the overarching issue is that we need to defend our vote. We need to come out in force and show the City Council that we will not take this sitting down. We will stand up and defend our vote. So I just wanted to make you aware of this. I wanted to make you aware of 5 events that we request you come out to and show support and show the DC Council that our vote is our voice and it will be respected. The first event is this Friday. There will be a petition and a rally, a petition delivery to the council and a rally. And the following Monday on the 17th is the DC Council hearing. And I have further dates as well. Again, there are 5 events. I have flyers here and I have a sign-up sheet for anyone who's interested in coming out to this. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Have a good night.
She has a question.
Yes.
Is it true, though, I just want to be clear, that if the restaurant workers, if tip workers do not receive the minimum wage, now isn't it law that the restaurants have to pay them at least the minimum wage to make up for what they didn't receive in tips?
That is the law. Unfortunately, there are many employers who are carrying out injustice through the form of wage theft. They're not paying their employees. They're not giving them the tips. And even if they do, the tips...
I'm just sorry, how does anyone know that? Because if that's the case, then they do need to be penalized for that.
That's absolutely true, and there are several studies which provide evidence on this matter and also the matter of Initiative 77 being passed in other states and there being no negative effects to the restaurant industry. In fact, the restaurant industry is booming in these 7 other states, specifically or particularly California, Arizona, Montana, Oregon, Washington State. But the wage theft is a serious issue and it is documented. Are there any other questions?
That's not a question. One of the things that I definitely like to say and this is something that I found out and was kind of disheartening for me, is that if you go to give a tip to a waiter or waitress and you leave it on the card, like say if you write in the tip on the receipt, they actually tax them. And so now your tip is being taxed from like, okay, so you already paid your meal, you give them a $5 tip, and now the $5 tip is being taxed as well. And yeah, so just to let you know, so that's why sometimes when I leave a tip, I leave cash, because you wind up giving the individual, you know, you thinking that you're going to give them a whole $5 or $10 tip, and really you go, their tip is being taxed as well. So it's amazing.
What tax are you talking about? You're talking about income tax, sales tax, what tax? When you say GA tax?
I think it's the sales tax.
No, I think it's the income, if it's for the way that service, the income tax, so they have to pay an income. So they'll get the tip, but it'll be taxed. So instead of them getting $5 cash, it'll be whatever the income tax.
Because that's a part of their income.
Right. There's always been that, but some people just don't know, right? Some people just don't know.
Those are all issues that are concerning. The overarching issue is the dismantling of the democratic process. If our vote is not respected, then what's the point of voting? What's the point of participating in the processes that this country has declared are the processes that they're going to follow and respect and honor?
I've talked to so many people, they were confused about the whole way the initiative was presented. Some people voted thinking that it was...
I'll be available in the back.
Okay.
Sorry, because of time, we have to wrap up. We're trying to get through some announcements and some things that we had, but I'm thankful that she came to present today. Quickly, we had Tawana just come up and give some announcements about our community day, feedback, and so forth. Tawana Bay.
Okay, good evening again. The block party was very successful. First of all, we would not have had the block party if it wasn't for Mr. Lance Holt and obtaining the permit for that particular day. Next, his wife, Ms. Kim Holt, also set up the kids' corner, which is very successful as well. And then I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Laverne here, our parliamentarian. She and I got out early, like 7 o'clock in the morning, was out setting up tables, trying to get everything together, just she and I. And then the one who comes out and checks and makes sure everything's in place, Mr. Chandler, was our very first so we're looking forward to doing this once again. It'll be August the 10th of 2019. But this time, I'm looking for committee members. So if anyone wants to be part of the 2019 Community Day, I think every year it gets larger and larger. And there's just talk. I mean, everywhere I go within the neighborhood, because I'm a dog walker, I run to the residents saying how nice it was. So again, I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. But it will be again August the 10th. So you can reach me by email at Tawana, TLWANA.banks@pennbranchdc.org. There are plenty of pictures that have been uploaded on the Facebook page for the Penn Branch community. Also, on that day, we had t-shirts, so we'll have t-shirts available to sell as a fundraiser for $15. Me too, rushing here from work. I had on a hanger to display here tonight, but I got a lot of feedback from that. I have at least 12 orders to place now for the t-shirts.
Could you send it all to all of us so we can order?
Yeah, I wanted to bring it here so they can see what it was, if that, you know, the texture they would like to have one. Okay, I'll get one for you. And so another, I just sent Mr. Jimmy Williams a text. We're thinking about trying to do Jazz in the Garden, have a jazz artist to come there and try to raise some money for future events for Penn Branch, rather than, you know, knocking on doors all the time as if we're like beggars. So we want to have events in the community that will cost like a small fee. So we're working on the way ahead for that. So that's all I have. I did send out a consensus. I didn't get much feedback about how you like the community day. I sent out an email.
I've been battling for about 3 weeks. What more can I say? Okay.
So that's all I have.
Tawana, before you sit down, I want to present you with a gift on behalf of the board for a job well done. I got you a beautiful charm bracelet from Alex and Ani, and it's called the Clada, and it symbolizes sharing your heart. It represents love that we give to others. We are at our very best when we stay united and strive to make each other's lives better. Together we learn, we play, and we live. Share your heart, your energy, and time to uplift those around you. So thank you.
Shannon was so upset that she couldn't be here. She had a wedding to attend. She said, and it wasn't anything.
And she would not change the date for me at all. So anyway,
Stan, you're up.
let me get back on task. Okay, now we will have our brother Paul, our Public Works Committee, come up and speak.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf, first of all, quickly, for a split second, on behalf of the church, on tomorrow at 6 p.m., there's going to be a sociologist and a psychologist presenting a grief seminar for all. All are welcome here at Pennsylvania Avenue Baptist Church. The workshop is to improve your understanding of loss and grief, explore grief from an Afro-American perspective, learn the stages of grief and change, discover tools to help you feel more peaceful and grounded, learn to embrace opportunities for healing and wisdom as a part of grief. Again, it's tomorrow at 6 p.m. here at the church. All are welcome. Now, the Public Works Committee's goal this year is to get stronger because the demands are greater throughout the neighborhood. What is our mission for the newcomers? Our mission has always been, we thought kind of clear, but we'll repeat it, to maintain all of the infrastructure that makes up the Penn branch community. And we kind of stretch ourselves every now and then. See, Joyce is laughing because she knows the Public Works Committee also loves our connecting neighbors. So when we can, we also extend ourselves a little bit there. What is infrastructure? All those catch basins, those sidewalks, those curbs, those gutters, those trees. Today you saw that I demanded that Pepco come and trim back all of the bigger trees along Carpenter Street. I put a second request in for the Urban Forest Administration to, after the storm, remove 3 of those trees. For every tree removed along that corridor, 2 trees will be replanted. But the trees are dead. They had tried to remove them last year, but the neighbor hugged the tree. Therefore, the tree was, I'm being serious. And we have to protect ourselves, our children. We got a lot of new babies walking up and down those sidewalks. Those trees, if they fall on one of these little toddlers that we now have being pushed up and down the street, would be dangerous. So please embrace what the committee is doing. We're working with the city to take down the dangerous trees. One sits at the corner of 34th and Carpenter. And that's why I don't go down there no more, because it's leaning, she leaning, and it's been raining a lot, and she may fall. But if you have trees within your blocks that you need trimmed, please call 311 as soon as you can. We will not be operating on 311 for the next 4 days due to 2 hurricanes. Mr. Gordon is coming right behind Florence. And so we already have floodgates up to protect the city downtown. We put the floodgates up at 4 a.m. That's why I was up early, Miss Cannon. We have the floodgates up in Georgetown. We have set up for seniors only, if they needed, sandbags in cooperation with DPW. There will be an announcement by the city tomorrow morning if you need sandbags. We ask that everybody get batteries for you. Every house should have 2 flashlights. One upstairs where you finally go to rest at night, and one downstairs. Make sure the batteries are in there. It's not the government's responsibility, it's ours, so we can see if we lose power, those flashlights become critical. 2, make sure each household has a case of water. The case of water is, you don't even have to go to Costco no more. Safeway sells them dirt cheap. The same small water now, 48 individual in a single case for $4.99. So please, we want to make sure people are properly hydrated, because we don't want you in the street. The minute we say that it's here, we ask that you not go out in the street. Don't wait till the storm comes and decide you want to get a fish sandwich from McDonald's. This is going to be a very serious storm. Look out for your neighbors. That's why I'm very pleased that we have moved forward with block captains. Block captains eventually will be able to get some of this information and know who are the seniors in their block, so they can send it to the board. The board would eventually send it to me. I will send it to EMA. EMA will start sending trucks to their homes during any disaster, whether it's snow or not. Take them to dialysis during that break. That's why block captains, you making me happy. You make me happy. Block captains in shape. But again, that is the emergency that is anticipated specifically in the District of Columbia. The eye is looking like it may hit us at midnight on Friday. We're hoping she turns a little further to the right and stay out there in the Chesapeake. If that happens, all our concern will be is flooding, high winds. Take all the cute things down from your backyards. I know y'all still got your umbrellas up and your chair. Take them down over the next couple of days before Friday night, because they will. You'll go out there, your car will have a hole in it, and the chair still sitting in the window. Let's not have that. Let's control the liability of ourselves of these things flying around and damaging yourself or a neighbor that walks by who decides to walk their dog during the storm. That's what we have in terms of the emergency preparedness that we've been asked to share. The second, I have 2 more quick things. We've been working with our neighbors who are along the Oak Street Wall. The Oak Street Wall, for our new neighbors, is a 3/4 mile wall that was built originally by the developer in 1962. The first wall collapsed in 1974 when the District of Columbia government was led by 3 commissioners. The wall was replaced by those commissioners. The first wall, that second wall fell in 1976. The third and final wall fell in 1998. So we, as a community, have had massive erosion in that immediate corridor, which affects 3200, 3300 block of Highwood Drive, 3300 block of Carpenter Street, and 33rd Place. That's why you see water running down the sidewalk on 33rd Place all the time. This used to be a dairy farm in the early 1800s, and that's why I've encouraged you all to, when you have nothing to do, walk through, use the map I provided during the summer, and we can provide it again. Walk through and you can see the hills. It goes up, it comes down. And the down part was where the rivers and creeks were. We are faced with trying to work this year to keep people from building along that corridor. So I want to thank the block captains or the individuals in those blocks that I just called out who helped to say no to the government to issue a curb cut. I thank Mr. Phil Hammond, who was gracious enough to look at the data we sent him as an ANC, understand that this was not just us not wanting the government to do something, but embraced our concerns, and he too had the ANC full commission to support no building along there. Our next step in this action will be to ask the government to make the entire empty lots a no bill into perpetuity, that they will make the 3 agencies that are currently responsible, which is DGS, DPW, DDOT, to set up a fund not to exceed or be under $200,000 annually to do maintenance on this Great Wall. Is she great? She's down 100 feet. Every 3 feet is a drain pipe that goes into the backyards of the properties, so known as Highwood Drive. If you cut it, you're busted. If it's busted, we now have a family member whose home has collapsed. The last allowed built house from Branch Avenue, that last house. It brings me to tears that we couldn't stop this 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm almost there. Why do we have to do the research year after year and bring forth the data that says that corridor is saturated with water? All of the water that runs, I live at 3700 Carpenter. I have 4 sump pumps, 2 backup pumps, 3 dehumidifiers, and I'm sitting on here. So God, what would it look like? What does it look like for those people in the lower part of Carpenter? And that's where they are. They're the lower part of what was the dairy farm and the field. So I close by saying, as we march this course that we've been going through for 22 years, we got to bring it to closure. We're going to ask our current council member and the full council to pull legislation in the next 90 days. And from that way we can guarantee those homeowners the sanctity of their property. I submit the report that was submitted to, so that you can have it, and all of the residents have a courtesy copy of what's being handed to the board. I am recruiting members for our board Public Works Committee. So if anybody is interested, send me your email, phone number to pennbranch2005@aol.com. Penn Branch. Next month I'll give the transportation, because there are 5 major projects that are going to be happening in your community starting in the next 30 days.
I have a question. Albert?
Yes.
Are you just saying it's only Carpenter? Because O Street is an ocean. I've had the fire department to my house 99 million times, and we have water coming down the middle of our street. So my question to you, is it just Carpenter Street, or is it O Street and other streets?
First of all, let's be clear, Gladys. We're talking about the O Street wall and not the street.
Well, I'm talking about the street, dear.
This is the first time you have asked or said to me as Public Works Chair that you have a water problem in the 3100 block of O Street.
Whether I said it to you or not, it's a known fact that we've had it. Water comes down that street.
Let me talk about that a little bit, because I did see it on the GIS. We as neighbors have to be careful how we redirect water, meaning your drains from off of your roof. What's happening on her street, she's sitting here, it looks like she's sitting on a hill, you would think there would be no water. But the water is saturating the soil behind her because people are improperly taking their pipes, putting them in the ground, and letting them face the houses on her side of the street.
Correct. Can I add
And DCR, wait a minute, I sent to DCRA that complaint. I asked for follow-up. Nobody's come back and said DCRA has not come out.
To my house the 17th of September, because I've called.
Gladys, I will work with you after the meeting. I work for everybody in the District of Columbia, including you.
Who works with me? I just wanted to record.
The only thing can correct it is, they were supposed to find the homeowners and make them turn their drains around.
That's not the issue I'm trying to tell you, Alberta. The issue is, let me give you the history of.
It's time for me to end. The parliamentarian needs to step
Let me give you the history of that street.
I know when Jacqueline and I did the walk down on O Street, we talked to, I think, your neighbor, the Roses. Wrong. Miss Gladys.
Welcome to that. She's talking to you. She's talking to
I was saying when we did our walkthrough down O Street, we talked to the Rome's family, down on the corner, where they had the tennis court and the pool behind their house.
Yes.
And we actually looked at the drain, and we are.
But that's not the block, sweetheart.
Well, no, we walked up and down that whole street.
Did you see water coming out of front of the people's houses?
She was cross branch out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you go down that street and water is coming down there, so when it freezes, that means that water
turns to
ice.
Okay.
Because the homeowner has no other way to do but to put it in the street. Let me tell you something. I'm not the block captain anymore, but when DCRA come in, because I have hollered and screamed the 17 to my house, I'll bring you their report and some other reports.
No, we'll follow up with you. We'll actually do a house call and come speak with you. Because that's how I roll. So I'll come and speak with you.
I mean, it's really bad.
Okay.
The fire chief has been to my house 5 or 6 times because people are diverting their water, building walls, and then diverting their water to my house.
Okay, we'll make sure we get your contact information and we'll follow up with you. That's my word.
Okay, thank you. I didn't mean to upset anybody.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
This is what the parliamentarian does. Steps in and says.
So quickly, because we're running out of time, I just want to share a quick story with the neighbors real quick. I took it upon myself to do some research and reach out to an organization that deals with 9/11 victim families. Through that research of doing so, I was able to be connected with a person that's a former resident of Hillcrest named Deborah Brogain. Her brother, who was a victim of Flight 77 that went into the Pentagon, they actually grew up in this area. He was the captain that was flying the plane that day. I almost brought her to tears when she saw the memorial that we actually have in our neighborhood. And this is actually a picture of the captain right here. Her brothers went to Anacostia High School. She went to Hardy, and they actually grew up. And she said some of the best years of her life were living in DC. And she was just so sweet and heartfelt to know that we had a part attributed to them, the victims of 9/11 that day. And for me, there was no direct connection as to why we even had the park in the neighborhood. I'm just going to be honest. And after having that conversation with her and knowing that they grew up in this area and her brother was the captain on that plane, I was moved by her story. And the only reason why she couldn't be here to speak today is because she was at the presentation at the Pentagon. So she actually sent a generous letter thanking Miss Alberta Pauls for spearheading getting the grant road and having us put the memorial park here within our neighborhood. And she said when she gets time, she actually is going to come to DC. She lives in I think it's Farmtown, New York. So she said, Shannon, the next time I come to DC again, I'm going to follow up with you and have tea. And hopefully at some point I can actually come to assist Civic Association meeting and speak to the community. So we are presenting this letter that she wrote to you, Ms. Pauls, today, and I'm gonna let Jacqueline get up and read it. And as much as she gets on my back daily and give me a headache, I believe in giving people recognition where recognition is due and just saying thank you. So, Jacqueline.
In recognition of Alberta Paul, a member of Penn Branch Citizen Civic Association, September 11, 2018. Dear Ms. Paul, I am writing to express my sincere gratitude to you for your determined effort on behalf of the Penn Branch community to remember and memorialize individuals from your area who perished in the terrorist attack of September 11, 2001. The words, "never forget," meant a great deal to us all in the immediate days, weeks, and months after this catastrophic attack on our country. As the years have passed, they refer to more than the tragic losses we endured that dark day. They are a vital affirmation of our common humanity. 9/11 was a day that human decency triumphed over human depravity. We saw this in the people who gave their own lives to save others, in those who rushed to the attack sites that offer help, often at great risk to their own safety. In communities all throughout America, people can come together to remember the victims, comfort each other, and support the national effort to recover and rebuild. That is something we should always remember. You are a shining example of American citizenship in action and the spirit of giving. You recognized a need in your community and set about to fill it. You saw something in a neglected piece of public land that others didn't. More importantly, you acted on that vision and, and enlisted others to support it. You secured the public grant to designate Penn Branch Park, erect the signage naming it, and add a bench and landscaping to make it beautiful and welcoming. That is leadership. The 16 people whose names are engraved on this memorial were all residents of the District of Columbia. Bernard Curtis Brown, Asia Cotton, and Rodney Dickens, 3 11-year-olds who were passengers on American Flight 77, traveling with their school teachers en route to a science field trip, actually lived and went to school near Penn Branch. All of their names are a solemn reminder of what matters most in life: faith, family, and friends. Thank you, Ms. Paul, for remembering these dear people. Thank you for all of your good works and community leadership. As former residents of Anacostia, during our childhood years, you have touched my family more than I can express. Very truly yours, Ms. Deborah Burlingame.
I want to thank Phil Hammond. He used to work. I want to thank Phil. He might seem to forget, but I conned him. He used to work for what was DDOT, and he beats me up all the time. And he was the chief of the Urban Forest Administration, which they had another name, but that's what they're called now, Phil. And I conned Phil Hammond. He was working, and I said, "You should give us some money," and he did. So and he directed me to these little people on V Street. So he's the one that led me to the goal that allowed us to take a trash dump that was being used by drug dealers and everything else and convert it to our beautiful 911 park. Thank you, Phil.
In appreciation of you for all that you do for our community and your efforts with the park, we wanted to present you also with this beautiful flower. I know you've got a house full of plants and a yard full of flowers. Well, this is just one more beautiful orchid to add to the collection that you already have.
Oh, where was this board? Where was this? Is the best board, the bestest. This is the best community in the world. So next meeting, there'll be 2,000 people because I'm going to make sure they know they must come and support our community. God bless you, board.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, again, truly, for someone like me, there was no immediate connection to the chain of events. I was away at college at the time, so to the victims that lost individuals that day is still real, and it's still like yesterday. So I'm very thankful that she took her time out of her busy schedule to write that letter for the community and Mrs. Pauls. Okay, Mr. Phil Hammond, you want to quickly give your portion real quick?
Oh, I'm all right.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you and the board, your board, for your leadership. Obviously, it's committed, and I'm really proud of the new leaders and the new board for Penn Branch. The ANC will work closely with you guys to make sure you're successful, so you can count on that. I want to also invite the audience to our next meeting, September the 20th. We have Councilman McGray, and we also have a speaker from DCRA to deal with some of the issues that you may have with the DCRA agency. This morning I sent an email to the director of EDAC, Jeff Meridian, and it has something to do with the curb cut for the Old Street Wall. Since the 22nd of August, I've been trying to get a resolution from that group about whatever they have decided in regards to whether or not they support the ANC or whether or not they don't. And I want to thank the people who went there and testified about that curb cut. What I want to do is give you this for your record. Also, I want to, actually that is Councilman Gray and my statement in opposition to the curb cut. This is the email that I sent to Jeff this morning in regards to their stonewalling the ANC. They don't want to they don't want to tell us whether or not they approve of the curb cut or the builder or disapprove for the ANC. What I am asking you guys to do is to, if you would, bombard Jeff with emails, letters, or whatever you have to do to find out what is the resolution for that particular curb cut. Because we need to know. I think if they approve the curb cut, I think it's a purview for them to then allow the builder to build on that part of land. So we definitely need your support to make sure that does not happen. The other thing I want to do with your support, with your board support, is to I'd like to develop a task force to work with Jerry Lynch and their development. Can't do it without you, so I want to make sure I want to ask you guys tonight, because we need to move that project along, I should say. So I'm going to need your support as well as probably Hillcrest and Fairfax Village as well. So because it's a community effort. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to say that. Thanks again for having me for a few minutes. I appreciate it. I know you're running over time. Thanks a lot to Alberta for what she's done. We worked very closely together for years, and I'm sure we'll continue to do that. So thanks again for giving me the opportunity to say this. Thank you.
Also, we want to thank the ANC for their donation towards our Community Day. That was greatly appreciated. They always support us, and that's the neighborly thing to do. Next, I will let Stan come up and speak. That's our new captain.
Thank you. Yes, I am the new black captain. Yeah. Last night I sent out an email introducing myself and thanking the black captains for being black captains. And in that email, I purposely took out the line where I said, if you no longer want to be a block captain, please let me know. Because I did. But the coverage is a little thin on our block captains. So I come to today's meeting, and I get a couple people come up to me and tell me that they no longer want to be a block captain, and for good reason. One person's been a block captain for 20 years. But Miss Hall, she's only been a block captain for 4. I'll leave you alone, Miss Hall. I'll leave you alone. And I do know the water issue that you speak of. I bike down that section of O Street. It is dangerous in the wintertime when it freezes. I got it, no worries. So, yeah, with that, I would like to say, yeah, thank you for allowing me to be in this position. It was my honor to work with you guys, ladies, gentlemen. And let's see, yeah, I could, like I said, our coverage is a little thin, so I could use a block captain on, let's see, 3200 of Polk Street, 1500 block of Branch, 3500 block of Texas, and now, what, 32 or 3100 block of O Street? 31 or 3200 block of O Street. So if anybody out there wants to be a
Yes.
block captain, yeah, please, what?
Yeah, it's 30 and 31.
30 and 31.
Blocks long.
Yeah, so you're working overtime. All right, cool. Yep, and yeah, that is it. It's late. I'm gonna say thanks again, and hey, have a good night.
Okay, so now that's, other than us, at some point trying to get together for people to work on a newsletter or communications with Elson, he couldn't be here tonight because it's back to school night for parents, so. If you're interested, please let us know. And so now I think that we will bring it to a close. We went over everything that we needed to. Did anybody want to bring up anything quickly before we close out? Nope? Okay. Well, I think it's a done deal. We lived, we survived. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting? Okay, until next time. See you next month. Thank you.